Good morning, card fans. We have a really fantastic guest on today. Another one of the Brisbane boys with us. We've got Doovelle. Doovelle, would you like to say hello to the people?
Hey everyone, my name's Doovelle, or Doovie if it's easier. I've been playing One Piece trading card game since Super pre-release, so I was here at the start. It was my first proper trading card game and haven't really looked back since.
Yeah, nice. We've spoke with a few of your crew from up there. We've got Cam and Elliot. You got into it around the same time, or was what?
Yeah, so actually at the first Super pre-release was where I met Steven or Cam. So prior to this game, like I didn't have any friends to jump into. I kind of just ducked into my locals, saw the poster for it. I was like, oh yeah, I'll give it a go because I always wanted to play Pokemon, but there wasn't a strong local scene here. And then that was when One Piece was first coming out, so I was like, I'll give it a crack. And then I paired up into Steven, I think round one or two. Neither of us knew what we were doing, but like he's, I think if anyone's spoken to Steven, like they know he's a pretty easy to talk to person. And like
Indeed.
I'm a bit of an introvert, so I don't really talk as much unless someone talks to me first. But because he's the kind of guy who talks, like I ended up like having a good time chatting with him. And yeah, we've just been friends since, going at it,
Yeah.
arguing, um, or just bantering. But yeah, good friendship.
Yeah, nice. He's a great guy. His enthusiasm is very contagious.
It is.
I
It
can,
is.
I can appreciate that being paired into him in your first or second game.
Yeah.
Can appreciate how you ended up hooked. So that's cool. You've been in them from the start there. Would you like to just sort of give us a bit of a record in your competitive scene, like some of your most treasured results, sort of thing like that?
In terms of results, I think the first one, like first big accomplish was 3v3, so that was with Elliot and Steven. And prior to that, I think the goal was just like a top 64, top 32. So first top 32 was in like the first Brisbane regionals, when we all got the finalist play mat, so we're pretty happy about that. After the 3v3, I think it was a bit of a stale period for me, because I don't at that point I wasn't really playing a lot of meta decks. And then the first top after 3v3 was I think OP7 on Bonnie. That was an online treasure cup, I believe, and then the most recent one being Perth Regionals and taking that one home
Yeah, and
on Shanks.
yeah, I was going to say that was with Shanks. So
Yeah.
switching up from Bonnie to Shanks,
Yeah.
which is I can understand why as a Bonnie player you'd move to Shanks because
Yeah.
it was a tough matchup. But that's really cool. That's something that I would like to discuss actually. When you have topped there with Bonnie and then you switched decks to Shanks to go and then do really, really well. Um, what was that purely a decision based around chasing that result, or did you enjoy playing Shanks as much as you enjoy playing Bonnie?
I think it's a mixture of both. Sorry. Yeah, it's definitely a mixture of both. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't really play like the top decks, or sorry, the best deck in format until recently. So, in OP6 or 7, like I was playing a Nell, but that was when Lucci was and Arpila was at its peak. So in testing, I'd always get bullied by like Ernest on Lucci or just anyone on Lucci. And I was like, oh, I can't do this. I'll switch to Bonnie. And
Don't get
then,
fooled by Lucci.
yeah, I tried playing Bonnie as long as I could. So I tried to carry through OP8. But again, like Lucy was still really strong, even though it was good into BY. I had one online regional where like BY was best deck, so I was like, okay, I'll bring Bonnie, see how it goes. And I paired into five Luchis and had like an abysmal run. So I'm like, okay, starting OP9, it can't be Bonnie anymore. And then Shanks seemed really interesting, so I thought I'd give it a go. And yeah, it served me well since.
Yeah, nice. Are you still on Shanks, or have you moved with the meta now into something different? What are you playing now?
So right now I'm trying to lean more into playing like what the best deck is, which currently is blue purple Luffy. Didn't go too well in Sydney. But I have been playing Shanks at locals with like the new starter decks just to try it out. And it hasn't been too bad. But I don't think I would take it back to a regional at this point. Like it'd still be blue purple Luffy.
Yeah, okay. That's so in Sydney. Like, I sucked in Sydney, man. I don't know what happened. That was my worst ever result ever, and I was like, I played Bonnie, and paired in because I was like, I'm going to play a lot of Billow and I'm going to play a
Yeah.
lot of Buggy. So I'm like, I'm on here with Bonnie, and all I did was play blue purple. So my day wasn't great. But you say there that you didn't have the best of times there in Sydney either. How do you bounce back from that? Is that something you just erase from your memory? And because I have dwelled on Sydney a fair bit, is that something you just erase from your memory, move on, focus on the next one, or do you try to like what learnings do you take from that?
Yeah. So it's an interesting one because I think I've played in so much events, like interstate events, that I don't really focus too much on the results of it. Obviously, I do review and look back to see what I could have done better instead of just, blaming on like, oh, the luck of the draw. But in terms of results, like I've been playing this game since super pre-release, and there are like way more players that have more like accolades and achievements than me. So like I don't take it too personally. It's just one regional at a time. If you do well, you do well. If you don't, then it's on to the next. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's probably that. Not even probably that is the best way to approach it, right?
Yeah.
So and is that something that you've developed over time, that approach, starting with Super pre-release and then coming in to Sydney, the most recent, and having that approach? When like that time frame's quite long, was it always that approach, or is that something that developed over time?
I think it's something that developed over time for sure because initially, like when you first started the game, everyone wants that first top eight zero Luffy or like their first top. And I mentioned before, like I think my goal initially was just like a top 64, 32, 32 being the big one because everyone wanted the mat at the time. And then after that, um, there were a few rough performances in between, and then I think it was just something that I got used to, and having like a testing group of strong players also kind of helps like shake the mindset of, oh, like you're not a good player, but even though like you're testing with all these good people because like they're there to reassure you that maybe it's just one bad run or you can always do
Yeah,
something better next time.
yeah. I spoke about that recently with Shannon. The sort of comparison being, and this is my new favorite saying, comparison is the thief of all joy.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's a topic that comes up a lot in these tight testing groups where you're testing with the best, right?
Yep, very
And
fortunate
you
to be
are
in
the
the
best.
position.
You're part of the best, and you're testing with each other, and you're testing with each other, and it's easy to go, oh, I suck.
Yeah.
It's easy to say that. So how does having that supportive team help in that regard as well? Like, because mentally that's quite challenging if
Yep.
you're playing against Stephen and Elliot and Ernest, and you're like, oh, lost seven in a row, but you're like, mate, you're playing the top echelon. Like,
Yeah.
how do you deal with that?
I think this is something that I got used to for the longest time because in terms of accolades, like I would always be at the bottom, right? Like outside of 3v3, I've only had one top eight since like all three of them have won Swiss at least once, so I'm still trying to catch up on that. But honestly, I think the mindset goes away once you have like your first big break, which for me was like winning Perth regionals. But even
Yeah,
then, like in retrospect, I think you shouldn't focus too much on like putting too much pressure on yourself for results. Just because like your testing group are all doing like way better than you. Because at the end of the day, like they're there to support you. I'm very lucky to have those guys supporting me, and if they're still willing to have me in the testing team, then sure, like, obviously it can't be that bad.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's yeah, like apples and oranges, right?
Yeah,
It's yeah.
exactly.
Um, when you won Perth, did that change your outlook at all?
I think for me personally, like it was a nice goal to achieve. Wasn't one that I was expecting, of course, because top eight was always the goal for each event, and then whatever happens, happens. I think I don't know if it's a mixture of the meta or that tournament, but I would say I think I've been a lot more casual for some time being, for One Piece. But again, it's not. I'm not sure if it's because of the meta or yeah, that result.
Yeah, right. That's interesting because I've seen that a bit where people will do really well and then they're like, okay, it's almost taking a breather. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay,
something like that. Yeah,
yeah, I've achieved it, and now I can like relax and more so enjoy
correct.
playing.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that you don't have that pressure on yourself
Yep. Yep.
to perform. Do do you think that changes has it changed your results? Do you think? Do you find you play better or worse with that more relaxed attitude?
Um, haven't really been able to measure that yet because there's only been one tournament in Sydney and I didn't do too well. So we'll see how the next few onlines go, but we'll probably ramp up testing sessions leading up to that. But for the most part, like if I go to locals now, like back then I would go to locals for actual practice because it'd be a wide field of decks. But I think these days it's just to go there, like socialize, have fun. Like I'm just playing Shanks and Bonnie, not
Yeah,
really bringing UP to locals. So yeah.
yeah, and the locals there in Brisbane, they're quite strong.
Yep.
How does has that shaped how you play? Do you think those locals do they influence the style?
I don't know about style, but I think we're very fortunate to have like strong locals. So the two particular ones that I often go to is Mint Collectibles and JoJo's Hobby House. So shout out to them for always having good, strong players there. Um, like yeah, they just have tons of good players, like with multiple tops, serials. So to have access to that kind of locals, because I remember watching like one of your previous videos, how like you're pretty rural and you have to like travel so far for that. So yeah, it's like very lucky to have access to strong locals.
Yeah, yeah, the dream, right?
Yeah.
um, but yeah, and that's cool. So when you are, so let's go back and talk about Perth because that's like an amazing result. It's also in Perth, which I spoke about with Shannon, is a long way away. Um, how do you approach that interstate travel to play these games? Is there a recipe for you that you like to use, or do you just sort of wing it?
I think it sounds really bad, but like I kind of just like outside of testing, I kind of just wing it. There's no real mentality going into it because like I mentioned before, like I've traveled for a lot of interstate events and I'm very fortunate to be in a position to do so. Like 100% understand that it's a privilege and luxury to be able to do so. So I think I try not to think too much about how I'll perform leading up into it. So for example, like the night before, if we fly in on a Friday, I won't play like too much. It'll just be have a good time with the guys, get good food, have a good sleep, and then whatever happens, happens, which is basically what happened in Perth.
Yeah, nice. That seems to be a really common approach of
Yeah.
getting good food, good sleep, wake up fresh. Yeah, I've seen that. I think it was Kaio on Twitter was saying how do people approach these events? And that seems to be
Yeah.
the common and the more sensible approach. There's a few outliers there, you know, party till 4 a.m. and then off we go.
Yeah, whatever works for you, right? Like
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
there's a few
yeah.
players that are like amazing and like you just see them the next day and they're like, oh yeah, I was out like until God
How do
knows
you
how
do it, bro?
long. Yeah, I don't know how you
How do
do
you
it.
do it? That's cool. That's yeah. Do you try to fly during the day, or do you I sh- get
Usually
in like
fly in Friday morning and then spend the day just traveling around like whatever city we're in because it's also an opportunity for us to like explore a city. So like I'm very grateful that for all the tournaments that's been held, like I've gone to explore like Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, a fair bit. Haven't gotten Adelaide and New Zealand crossed off yet, and unfortunately I won't be making those due to other commitments, but hopefully one day.
life, man? It's always
Yeah,
getting in the way, isn't it?
that's it.
Uh, yeah. So you now you've had a win. Have your goals changed in terms? Like I know you take a more relaxed approach now, but do you have loft? Do you add in loftier goals now? Like, do you want to win nationals, or does it change for you there?
It hasn't changed too much. I would like to top it like as much as I can, like get a cereal, like each new cereal that comes out because I missed out on the Shanks. So happy to get the Ace and Luffy, and then whatever next cereal comes out, that's like a mini goal of mine, just to like get one of each cereal or win one of each cereal.
Win, yeah, win one of each cereal. Earn it, as they
Yeah,
say.
exactly.
Yeah, cool. And so that's yeah, really, really cool. What else can we talk about? That's been really interesting so far. When you switched to Shanks, like we spoke about before, you were sort of chasing that bit more of a meta. Was there a
Hmm.
reason you didn't go to Doffy? Because Doffy was probably the pick then, right? Really, in
Yeah,
terms of
100%.
yeah. So why did you go to Shanks over Doffy?
That's a really good question. So I know when Doffy was best deck at the time, I know Steven and well, all the other three guys were testing on it a lot. And then usually when we test, we're all kind of on different decks so that we have a good variety of testing partners. So it kind of just works out. So we didn't need like a fourth Doffy, for example. So, but in terms of actually playing the deck, I think I just didn't have the mentality at the time to put the effort into learning the deck because it is a very complicated deck. It's not just oh I play Jinbei Weevil every time. Oh I play Bolt. Like there's a lot of nuances. There's a lot of sequencing to do, and I think I've also been clowned on by like my team for being the guy who just plays like one big body a turn, right? Like Bonnie, Anel, Shanks, and now like UP Luffy. So I'm just like,
Oh,
oh
now you
whatever,
play
like
two a
I'll lean
turn.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that's really insightful there talking about Doffy because I think a lot of people thought that if they picked up Doffy, best stacking format, pick that
Yeah.
up, I'll just go and I'll win. But there was a lot of nuance in that deck, like you say, in terms of stacking the top five when you had to uh, Jimbei into Weevil, draw one, make sure that you had your sequence in that top five right. So it's I tried it for a bit and I was like, this is like I don't think I could play 9 matches of this
Yeah, exactly.
non-stop.
Especially the mirror as well.
Yeah, Jozu in there, and you saw the mirrors, man. The mirrors at nationals, they were. I was just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
fill a board. Next turn, they remove all your board. Your
Yep.
turn, you remove all their board. It was just like, oh, it was a grind.
Yeah, it was.
So doing that for so long, all day, and then the next day, I was like, oh, kudos to them. I could never ever do that, and I think that's quite insightful to realize that as well. Like you say,
Yeah.
oh, there was already 3 Dofis, and you would like, oh no, we don't need a fourth Dofi. But understanding that there's that nuance in the deck, and that you probably don't want to do that for 8 matches straight is is really like amazing as well. Cool. So what else? What else can we talk about? So you're in Eternal Magic.
Yes, Eternal
Yep.
Magic.
And you've been in there with the guys from Brisbane for a while.
Yep.
Do you like? 'Cause I spoke about this with Cam, and I was like, I'm always intimidated when I sit down and there's someone there with an
Yeah.
Eternal Magic shirt or a PX3 shirt. And I'm like, oh, okay, I may as well just scoop now and move on. um, how do you find the opposition approach? Do you find they approach you differently when you're playing against them in the big in-person tournaments at all?
Not really. I think like some people will just recognize the Eternal Magic brand and just be like, "Oh, I'm versing Eternal Magic," but I don't think it changes up their gameplay much. Like, yeah, the players are good enough. Like, they don't have to be like worried or anything.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying. Like all wonderful guys and super helpful, talk through your decisions and all that sort of stuff. But I was like, there is and it's that comparison. I think we come back to that as that comparison. As I sit down, I see someone with Eternal Magic shirt. I'm like, oh, this is a lost cause already.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that mental approach. I think everyone's sort of got to work on a little bit there. So we spoke about like your top in Perth, how you achieve that, and then also your how you've moved on since then. When you're there and you're like, oh, done all this stuff, got your goals that you went to top eight and get your serials and things like that. How have you maintained that interest for so long? And like you already said, you've set goals for the future. So you're planning to play into the future. So maintaining that interest, is there any sort of tips and tricks you have there around not burning out? Because it seems like quite a common thing, burnout as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like it could apply to hobbies, it could apply to real life. For me, I think I'm just doing what I'm doing now, so like just taking that more casual approach because we don't have any tournaments in July up until August, and it's a long time between Sydney till then. So instead of just like spamming UP, GP, or like whatever the top deck is, I just try to take it a bit more casual to not burn out. Play like older decks that I used to enjoy, like Bonnie or Shanks, or even just like try new things at locals just for the sake of having fun, like no expectations.
Yeah.
'Cause otherwise,
Yeah.
like I'd probably lose interest quite quickly. And I always see comments like people saying like, "Oh, the meta's so stale" or whatnot. It's like, like just don't play it. Just take a break. It's okay. Come
Yeah.
back when you feel like it.
Yeah, I think it was Darcy who was saying that he's got a thing at the moment because of there's not many tournaments coming up, and he's quite comfortable on a Bonnie list that he has. That he's now going back and he's playing all the green leaders. So
Yep.
one week it'll be, gee, I don't even know what some of the green leaders like Odin, and then like yeah, Kinemon is just like he's really digging into the archive, but that's sort of like a cool approach and somewhat similar to what you've mentioned there. Like
Yep.
you can say the meta is stale because there's one best deck in format. There's always one best deck in format. That's never going to change, right?
100%.
So you can make it as fun or as boring as you want. That's
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
that's up to you. Yeah, cool. I feel like this has been really insightful for me. And I'm sure it's been super insightful for everyone that listens too. But so thank you very much for that. You gave a shout out there before to a couple of game shops, but is there anyone else that you would like to give a shout out to? Thank. We can drop links and
Um,
all sorts of things.
just my usual testing team, I guess. So the guys in Eternal Magic Brisbane, so Stephen, Elliot, Ernest, and of course Daniel Peck, who Elliot mentioned is like the the honorary member. Who else? Sam. Special shout out to Sam and Valerie. So they're two of my personal friends, but they don't really play the game. They just like come to pre-release, play it, and then that's it. But appreciate them coming out
Yeah,
to
nice.
support me and play.
Have they pulled a
Um,
manga at pre-release?
Oh my God, you wouldn't. Okay, so that's the worst part, right? Sorry to go off like tangent, but
These are always the
they
people that pull the mangas.
they've attended OP1 pre-release, OP2 pre-release, and my friend Valerie has pulled like a series, not series, sorry, manga Shanks and Ace, and just like never played any locals, just pre-release, pull the manga, and just like dip for 3 months until the next set comes out, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's always the way, isn't it?
yeah,
It
yeah,
is.
and I've never pulled one. Been playing since pre-release, so still
My
waiting.
son's pulled two.
Which ones?
He got the the Luffy from the recent set.
Yep.
He didn't even know he'd pulled it. He thought it was just the old. He didn't think it was. He didn't
Yeah.
realize it was the manga. And then
Manga. That's amazing.
I was like, "Whoa, calm down, buddy." And then he
Yeah.
pulled the Rayleigh.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I've pulled
Yeah,
the
two good
Chopper,
mangas.
so which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Still waiting for my turn.
Yeah. There's some people that have been waiting a long time. There's a guy Shrub, interview Shrub. He does like 4 or 5 boxes each set. He still hasn't pulled one.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, he'll get there one day, man. He'll get there one day. And speaking of mangas, this is a bit off topic, but I have a theory for PRBO2 that there'll be a god pack in that one, but it'll be the
I
manga
hope so.
events.
Oh, that'd
So
be really cool.
yeah, all those manga events that have come out, I think they'll do that in
Yeah.
PRBO2.
Yeah.
So you heard it here, maybe second or third, but I think that's something cool that Bandai should do. Yeah, so that's yeah. Good luck to them pulling mangas at pre-releases and always the way. It's cool. So again, thank you for your time. It's been wonderful. We always finish with this question, but manga, anime, or live action?
Manga for sure. So I'm actually up to date on the current manga.
Yep,
It's getting really good. I'm very
it
excited to see how
is.
it pans out. The big reveal
What's
this week.
yeah,
So
that
I won't
reveal this
spoil.
week. There's
Yeah, yeah.
spoilers, so we're going to talk spoilers here. So if you don't want spoilers, just bounce now. But what have you thought of that theory about a certain pirate being the father of both Buggy and Teach? Have you seen
I
that?
don't know about the buggy one. I know about the teach one, and I think that
Yeah,
was basically confirmed again.
confirmed. Yeah,
Spoilers. Yeah, but I think
because
it's
they're
gonna be really
saying
cool to
based on
see.
that picture of him in
Yeah.
the where his one eye looks like Buggy and the other eye looks like Teach.
Oh, I gotta go back and reread the chapter then because I did not
Yeah.
notice that. Yeah,
Oh, it's a theory. They don't say anything about Buggy, but I was like, oof, that would be
that'd be
quite
crazy.
quite the egg. What do they call them? Easter egg in
Yeah, yeah.
that one. If it was the case. All right. All right. Spoilers out of the way. So, thanks for being on. I really appreciate it, and it's
Thank
been
you for
really
having me.
wonderful chatting with you. You guys up in
Likewise.
Brisbane are a great bunch, and I appreciate you all coming on. Um, Still got a few more of you to nab to get on here and chat. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming on, and it's been super helpful for a lot of people watching and listening on Spotify. So yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll stop it there.